What's up, Walking Dead friends and family? It's Brian Castrillo, and Walking Dead is back. Oh my goodness, did you just watch episode 9 of season 11, No Other Way? That was an amazing, action-packed episode. Absolutely loved it all. Only some minor things I wish could have been a little different, but we're going to get into those. And the other thing, of course, we got to get down to the business of this, because I just drew a name and somebody won. But we'll get to that at the end of the video. But yeah, this episode, if I had to give an MVP for this episode, it's definitely Lauren Cohan, of course, who plays Maggie Rhee. She was an absolute badass. And I was just really impressed with a lot of the productions, the special effects, and a lot of the fight choreography in this episode. It was absolutely fantastic, and it pushed the story forward. And while I kind of wish we got a little more out of the Reapers, but that even goes to the past episodes. But let's get down to this. So we left him back off where the previous episode, the Hawacha was, it was aiming down on our group, Daryl, Father Gabriel, Negan and Elijah, and that's where we take off this, and it's right from the get-go. You see these arrows coming right out of the Hawachas, and they're sticking into some of the zombies or walkers, and just exploding, and guts going everywhere. It was absolutely fantastic. If you want gore, this was your episode. And then there was a particular fight scene where Maggie was trying to get away, and one of the Reapers had caught her, and then they're fighting, and he was really slamming her up against the edge of the trailer, and then he's holding her out. And I don't know about you, but this whole scene was really tense. And then you see the rockets kind of whizzing by her head, and then she was able to get free. Looks like she kicked him in the nuts, and then he kind of gets pushed out there, and it goes right in his back. She has to run, and then his guts are exploded everywhere. Absolutely fantastic. But the one scene leading up to where all this was going that I wished we got a little bit more was the confrontation between Father Gabriel and Father Mancia, which is the priest of the Reapers. I felt that was a bit quick, and that was one that I was really hoping for. Just a much bigger, I guess, confrontation, a war of the minds, if you will. And I really thought we were going to get more from Father Mancia. I thought it was a really interesting Reaper. Some of the scenes where he was out there in the field, and then of course Father Gabriel was hiding in that tree, and he mentioned that he knew he was there because he talked to God. But I think this scene was important because it showed that Father Gabriel is losing his touch, with the Lord and with his religion and his beliefs. And this may play into a role that Father Gabriel may get into further down the season. But I do wish that scene could have been a little bit more. I wish we could have, I think the runtime was roughly 47 minutes. We could have got an extra 5 minutes or something within that scene. But I still loved it. Then, we come down to and then the Carver. That dude is an absolute badass. There was a moment where Maggie was stuck in the back of a hallway. You got Elijah there, you got Negan, and they're all coming out at the same time, and Daryl comes in later, but they're all trying to fight him off, and this dude is just kicking their ass. But eventually Daryl does save the day, and it finally comes down to where he had Carver, where they wanted to kill him, because we found out that Carver was actually the one that killed Elijah's sister and his family. So that explains why Elijah really wanted him dead. But they, Daryl's got Carver by knife point, and he's trying to get Leah and the other Reapers out. which they do. But then all of a sudden, and they're kind of like in this standoff, and then Daryl's out in the open, and then they one of the Reapers, Watson, shoots with a sniper rifle, kind of a warning shot right by Daryl, and then we find out later on that actually Father Gabriel ended up killing that sniper, and he took the gun because Daryl had to let Carver go, but at that point Father Gabriel, obtains the gun, and he shoots Carver in the leg as he's about to kill Elijah. But then at the end of this, you see Maggie. They kind of allowed the Reapers to go, and then Elijah's talking about how they can't live or whatever, and then Maggie, like the freaking badass that she was in this episode, gets up, shoots two of the Reapers dead, and like on point, like this. Her accuracy in that shooting was amazing, which makes me wonder if she did not kill Leah on purpose. Like, she shot her in the shoulder. So if Maggie was that accurate with the other Reapers, I feel like she could have killed Leah. But I wonder if she did that for Daryl, let her live, or if there was some other ulterior motive. But she was on point killing the other Reapers, but she did not kill Leah. She got her right in the shoulder. So that kind of made me question. Now you go back to Alexandria, and you got Gracie, you got Judith they're stuck in the basement while while the rest of our group they're in the house, but they can't get to them, and they're stuck in the basement. And then this scene was intense, and one of Aron'S best moments, I think, in the actual series. The special effects when he came through with that weapon. This is what I've been waiting for. He, like, bone crunching, skull exploding. What he did to the walkers to help the two little ones escape was phenomenal. But then he gets stuck. Now we know Judith's weapon actually fell into the water, so it's still there, I assume. And then he can't get out. And then all of a sudden, walkers are busting through the door. They're coming down. He's stuck in the water. But then Lydia ends up, helping him get out, because this was really tense, because you got Aron, who's like kind of crawling up on like a water valve, which when it ends up breaking, and there's like all kinds of, I don't know if that was blood or zombie guts or whatever the hell that was, but that poured out of the pipe when it broke, and he's dangling there. Walkers are trying to get at him. Eventually he gets back up, and he's helped out by Lydia. Now another moment was when, and this was absolutely heartbreaking. So Maggie goes back to where Alden was, and she opens the door, and this walker almost attacks her, and it's one of the Reapers. So, and then you come around the church, inside a little bit more, and then she sees Alden, played by Callum McCullough, just kind of crawling to her, and just the grief that was displayed by Lauren Cohan as Maggie. It was absolutely heartbreaking watching it. I really liked Alden, and I was hoping we could have got at least maybe a final hero moment from him. But in the comics, Maggie actually adopts Sophia. Now that moment cannot come, obviously, in the TV show, but I'm assuming that they're going to put that role on her and take Alden's child that he got from the Whispers, and that'll play out there. And there was a really cool moment when she was burying Alden, and it was somewhat of a nod to the comics. And you see, because in the comics, Maggie was standing over Negan as he was burying Lucille. Now that moment has already kind of somewhat eclipsed in the show, where Maggie kind of was deciding whether she wanted him to live or die. But this was sort of a nod to the comics, where you had Negan in the background, where it's kind of flipped a little bit, but it kind of resembled the moment where Negan was burying Lucille. And Negan was saying like how like I knew you were basically going to do what you were going to do to the Reapers, because when you had your mind made up, you're going to do what you're going to do, and I'm not going to wait around for that to be me. And just when you thought the two were going to clash, Negan says, and that's why I'm leaving. So Negan takes off, and Maggie comes back to the group, and they're talking with, you got a conversation with Daryl and Father Gabriel, and they're talking about the decisions that groups make and are they the right ones. But they finally get back to Alexandria, and they're asking where, and this was kind of a sad moment too. Not many people like Negan, but one did, and that's Lydia. And the look on her face when she found out that Negan just left, she looked like she lost, the only person who understood her. I know at first they didn't, but you remember that scene where he was basically trying to comfort her when Alpha died, and after he, did what he did. She bonded with him, and she was when she found out that he left, you see it in her face. That was really sad to me. But now one of the biggest so we get back to Alexandria, and besides that moment where Lydia realizes that Negan's gone, this is some of the most heartwarming moments. You got Judith screaming, "Uncle Daryl!" RJ's running up. You got Herschel Jr. running up to Maggie. Everyone's hugging. The moment when Daryl finally seen Connie was alive, and the smile on his face, he was so excited. He said, we're going to talk later. But that was absolutely heartwarming. Even the look on Carol's face, because she was happy to see Daryl was happy. That was an absolutely beautiful moment. And it kind of brought me to the moment where a couple seasons ago where they kind of had a snowball fight, and it was just that one moment of happiness. And there was another callback, which at least I thought, I can't remember the season, but Aaron, when he fell into the water, and this was a really cool underwater fight where he's fighting this walker, but it kind of reminded me when, I want to say it was Father Gabriel, I'm pretty sure it was in his early years, but Rick and them, they went scavenging, and they're stuck in this building, and they fought, I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it was Father Gabriel, unless it was Bob. Yeah, I think it was Bob, and where he fell into the water and he was fighting, and it kind of reminded me of that moment. But more importantly, we're getting back to the end of this episode. The Reaper arc is behind us, except for the fact that Leah took off. But then all of a sudden you see Jerry, and he says, guys, get over here. So Daryl runs up there, as well as Carol, and then you see the Commonwealth guards, and they're coming towards the gates, and you got the guards with guns at them. They're ready to shoot the Commonwealth guards, and then all of a sudden here comes Eugene, somewhat reminiscent of the moment when he came back with Negan and the Saviors, but this time he was more of a hero, at least in it felt that way, because our group had no food, the storm had wiped them out, and he brought them a way to survive, supplies and everything. And you even see it in the look that Rosita gave Eugene, and it was just really happy. And then he introduces Lance, the slime ball that he is, and he's talking about how he has, basically telling about the Commonwealth, on how they want him to come. But then 6 months later, all of a sudden it shifts to Maggie and Elijah, and the color kind of leaves the photo, and it's now this black and white photo. So I don't know what happened there. either Maggie's intuition, and I feel like Maggie right now is on point. A lot of people were giving her shit and saying Negan was right, but she did the hard things that had to be done, similar to what Rick Grimes has done. But I feel like when they focused in on them two, and it went to black and white, that there's some sort of knowledge that maybe Maggie knows about Lance, or there's something there, and for whatever reason, we do a time jump 6 months ahead, and you see Maggie and various others that are there. They're trying to build up Alexandria, and they stay behind. And then here comes the Commonwealth guards, and Maggie says it didn't have to be this way. And then there's Daryl, and he takes off the Commonwealth guard, and he's like, yeah, it did. So what the hell, Daryl? I imagine Daryl is pissed off that Leah got shot, and the family, because Daryl, of course, is close. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. But what we don't know is, because it cut away right when Lance was asking everybody what they were going to do, it literally went to that. It shifted to Maggie and Elijah, focused on them with a black and white photo. And we don't know what happened. So there's obviously going to be some sort of flashback to what happens in the 6 month time. And clearly Maggie and Daryl are at odds now. And what happened? So I'm really curious as to what's going to happen. But now we're here. This is the Commonwealth Arc. And things are going to start getting messy. Things are going to getting sloppy. People are going to take sides, and it's going to be interesting to see whose side people are going to be. Is it going to be the Commonwealth? Is it going to be against the Commonwealth? And you're going to see our group kind of splintered and fractured, which is going to be kind of sad. But it was weird seeing Daryl in that Commonwealth Guard, even though I saw the picture already, like on promo photos, to actually see Daryl, walking up in it, take his helmet off, and say that to Maggie was, really strange. But now let's get. But I want to. Well, first, what did you guys think of the episode? I really loved it. With the exception of, I thought they could have done a little bit more with Father Mancia and Father Gabriel. I thought that could have been more of a standoff, more of a a mind. I just wanted more of that. But outside of that, I really loved the episode. The action was great. Special effects were great. I was so sad to see Alden die. But what did you guys think? What questions do you have going forward? With that being said, let's not waste any more time. You guys want to know who won these? There's Rick Grimes, there's the two iconic walkers, and the big one, Daryl Dixon, which is signed by Norman Reedus. I was physically there. That's the picture that's in the video on YouTube. Back when he had the short hair, I met him in 2011, the first time I met him, and had him sign that for me. I have so many great stories. Norman is an amazing individual. I'm going to tell a quick story real quick. In Cincinnati, when I went to Horror Hound, I had a chance to meet him, and there was a huge blizzard. Snow is going down, and I was in line with my friends, and this line is huge. If you've ever been to Cincinnati and you've been to the Horror Hound, fairly big, normal convention building. So you got this huge kind of auditorium, and they have these chairs that are set up in rows, and the line's going through the chairs, and then up against the wall, and then you got like 2 floors of stairs that people are going out and going outside and around the building. So this huge line for Norman. Now, everybody else who was there with The Walking Dead, that's also where I met Scott Wilson, by the way. They had decent lines, but Norman's line was ridiculous. And it's coming to an end, and I was outside, so I can see some of the stars getting ready to leave. They're, they're in the back with their cars, and some of them are leaving. It's kind of the end of the day for them, and I can't blame them, but Norman's line was still ridiculous. And so I remember, the storm was getting bad, and him and his well, his people came out and they waved us all in, and so we're like, we're kind of getting worried because we've been in line for like at least an hour, if not two, and we wanted to see Norman. And so they basically took us in, locked the doors so no one else can get back in, and they said Norman Reedus wants to stay until everybody gets the opportunity to see him. I was last in line, so I know that is what happened, but I thought that was the coolest thing. And as I'm watching, as we're getting, towards the end of the line, I was the second to last. You could watch him, just the kind of the pure, I don't joy or happiness like that. He loves doing what he does, and he made sure that he spent a little bit of quality time with each person. I was just really amazed at just how much he goes, or what level he does for his fans, and how much he loves his fans. I would have to say him and Scott Wilson were my favorite. And I loved all my interactions with the Walking Dead, cast and crew, but those two will always be the most memorable to me. And I just want to share that story because he is the center of this giveaway, and the winner is, and I got one of those online, that spin around and pick the name, and the winner is Eliza Jones. You have now 48 hours to, inbox me. We'll discuss it, how we're going to send it to you. But Eliza Jones, you have won. I'm excited to send this to you, and I hope you're excited to receive them. To those that are newcomers to my channel, I hope you like my channel. I hope you're enjoying it. There's going to be obviously a lot of Walking Dead universe stuff. I'm going to do some horror stuff. You'll see some movie reviews, some Marvel stuff, some Star Wars, but, heavy on The Walking Dead, heavy on horror, maybe an occasional haunted area trip, and some other shenanigans. But I hope you love my channel. So grateful for you guys to join my channel. Thank you guys to all the newcomers. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for coming. Eliza Jones, congratulations. And for my shout outs, it's going out to Squawking Dead and Oscar Rodriguez. They were part of this contest. That was part of the rules. Trying to kind of spread the love and get some more follows for, my friends over at Squawking Dead and Oscar Rodriguez. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you guys for following. I love you guys. Until next episode.